Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on the 8th day of November. Already in the great month of November here. Got a great show with you for tonight. Going to go over this week's biggest games. Lions, Texans. That's a big one. Pittsburgh, folks. Pittsburgh, Washington Commanders is another one. That's just a quick preview. We've got a few more games to talk about. Of course, recap last week with the Mad New Yorker. Get his thoughts on this. Another coach fired in the middle of the season with earlier this week with Dennis Allen here. And, of course, we'll go over everything else. Recap last week and whatnot. Stand by. Let's take our first and only break. We'll be back here momentarily, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming Sports.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows, giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America. Introducing...
Sorry about that. And, of course, we've got the Mad New Yorker. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up? Happy Friday!
Friday. Like the radio stations. So, Bob, I've got you on here. Don't want to forget to ask. I noticed you said something before you would like to be on a panel with Kevin Carroll. Next Thursday, I'd like to have you guys on. Kevin said he definitely want to come on and talk Tennessee, Georgia. If you come on 30 minutes past the hour.
That time of year already. Woo!
Yeah, Tennessee, Georgia. Now, neither team needs to be looking ahead. Tennessee plays Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken. And, of course, Georgia, it's a big game we got to talk about, break down later, at OleMiss. And it's only a 2.5-point spread. But I think they're both going to be okay. And I was hoping you could come on. Could you come on Thursday at 8:30, 7:30 Central?
Yo, 7:30. I'm not sure. I'm gonna be a little ways. I'm gonna be out of the country, man. I could try, and I'll let you know that day.
Yeah, okay.
You
gonna be back Friday?
No, I don't return till Sunday, but
okay.
I'll keep you posted if I can do the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if he can, I'll figure out something else. Where you going back? Columbia?
Yeah, man.
Well, tell Sosa I said hello.
Yeah, man.
Facebook. Hello, Facebook user. I think that may be Kathy. Good to see you. Okay. What do you think about this Dennis Allen fired in the middle of the season. What's your take on these mid-season? Now, this is Carlos. Is that is that somebody imposing to be you, Chief?
No, man, that's probably family member.
Saying hello to you, Carlos.
Hello.
Maybe. That may be Sosa.
So I mean, half the team already quit, so we might as well fire the coach, right? And by that,
Do you think that's what happened? I think I don't start, man.
You got 10 players on the injured list. You got a couple on the pup list. Like, he's on the 7-game loser streak. Nothing was going his way. I mean, I don't know if that was an ownership thing that they just ran out of patience with him. What's up, Jeremy?
Good to see you, Jeremy Ballrick. Good to see you. Your lines are humming, brother. Your lines are humming. Go ahead, Carlos.
So like, you know, I don't. They haven't done too many things there as far as turning over that team anyway. So that team is kind of old.
That's what I said.
So
do you think Mickey Loomis, the general manager, I don't know if his job's not safe. He's been there 22 years. Yeah. They've been over the cap for years now. That team should have turned that team over 3 years ago.
I mean, the only thing turning over there is a quarterback. I mean, they need to organize themselves a little better. I think the ownership, I think they're even trying to sell the team, if anything.
We will break that game down, Jeremy.
So,
really? Yeah, it is the wife there of Miss Benson. That's true.
Yeah. So, and the reason I say that is, like, if they can get rid of all the contracts and salary, then any new owner can come in and not feel bad and not feel like they're obligated to stay with any new contracted players, any coaching that just got hired, or as well as like they can just start from the get, and they're going to start with draft picks, of course, as they're like not in the playoff position at all. So, you know, I think that's one way that you could kind of maybe look about it, and if not, then maybe they might move on from Loomis, and that would be about time, right? So
yeah, I think so. Well, he's been there 22 years.
I mean, you know, like,
I mean, you know, Bill Walsh used to say that created the 49ers that every pro coach and general manager should move on to another team after 10 years. People start to shut you out, and Loomis been there 22 years. Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
and was he there for the championship run?
Yes. Yeah, of course. 22 years. Of course. I mean, that was right around in 06 when they got Breeze. That was a big sign. I remember us talking about that in school.
Right. So that's just one of the last things that he done, right? So that came out positive in his way, right? So yeah. It's tough, man. And that's one of those franchises, mid-tier level franchise that gets stuck in the doesn't matter how much they're paying their players, man. It's just a small media market. But what I like about, if you go and you go to those games and you visit New Orleans, it's actually kind of affordable. It's not tough to go out there on the weekend, and it doesn't hurt you too bad. It doesn't hurt your pocket too bad. Like, so.
Yeah. Are you okay with these mid-season firings? Does that really change anything?
I think it's better
at the end of the season and doing it. You know,
I think it's better because it puts everybody in high alert. Like, the coach is gone, so that means that you don't have an in with anybody. You gotta leave your work on the field, and it's gotta be at the top tier if you want to get signed again. Or you could just get cut and they'll move on from you. Like, so it not just puts the players, and it's not just about the coaching staff, it's about the players too. You got, and when you fire a coach mid-season, man, everybody has to wake up, everybody has to shift and move, and you can't make an excuse about, well, it was the people at top, they're holding us back. So because you get excuses like that from the top, even coaches, they get kind of stagnant, right?
Yeah.
They get, they're like, oh, well, I have, like, Allen's like, well, I got 10 injuries, what am I going to do? Like, do something. Like, you're the coach, motivate these kids, get them on the field, get these practice squad kids that you guys have signed and are paying, you know, they're not paying them much, but they're paying them something. And it's part of that salary, right? So you got to get some ROI from somewhere.
Well, what if they overachieve with the interim coach and you get stuck hiring the interim coach, in the next year the interim coach, you kind of know why he's the interim coach, you know? That's the only thing I would be worried about.
Are you trying to compare that to like a Paul Pierce thing, to not Paul Pierce, to an Antonio Pierce thing?
Antonio Pierce. Well, possibly, yeah. He was the last one to do so. Romeo Cornell was a prime example. I don't know if you remember him with the Chiefs, but he used to be. They beat like a 14-0 Green Bay team coming off of a Super Bowl, and the Chiefs hired this guy the next year, and they were horrible the next year.
Yeah,
and it sets you back another year breaking in, and then that very well may be the case with Antonio Pierce. As well. Now, I'm still giving Antonio Pierce the benefit of the doubt because he's had some of the worst quarterbacks to deal with.
Yeah, but the media is already putting him on a hot seat. Like the mass media, people in LA and New York, they're putting him on a hot seat. I'm like, cat's just been there for like 24 hours. Like, you know, in Vegas, a day goes by like one day in Vegas is like 3 days, man. Like,
I've been out there. I used to live pretty close out there.
Yeah, so you know that it's the life goes by fast over there. But I mean, I think patience is always a key. With the team like New Orleans, the Saints, they have a great fan base, and they just haven't had any luck. Because I think also with the firing is the fact that that's not a strong division. So the owner's like, yo, we're at least competitive within our own division. We should be in the playoffs all the time, right? So, which is not the case, because you could get into the playoffs, but then now you got to play your way up and out to the next level.
You can make the argument that's why he got hired. He was an interim coach. Sean Payton got suspended for I can't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. And remember, he was taking over, and the defense was really good against Tom Brady, and he was the coordinator under Payton, you know. And he's already been fired once by the Raiders, but talk about Dennis Allen,
right? So
you kind of just, I don't know, man. It seems like
he's saying he wasn't a good hire to begin with.
Yeah, he's another guy, and there's a lot of them like, and there's nothing wrong with it. But he's just coordinator material.
Right. And it's hard to bridge that gap when you hire an interim coach, because the problem, and I don't think people understand this, is like if you're a player and the coach gets fired, the interim coach comes in, you don't have that same perception of him that you did when you first come in and you see your head coach who's like, I'm down for you, you know, we're going to talk to the agent, make sure you get signed, you know, all that stuff that they have to do with the GMs and the coaching, and you know, and so the interim coach comes in, and there's a different relationship, even if the coach was already on the team, right? So some players are okay with that because the coach is out and this is new blood, but a lot of people, man, to be honest with you, a lot of the team, most of them just kind of shut it off and be like, okay, we're going to do this next year because, you know, it's a new coach, and you know the expectation level just goes from up here to falling down. And that's what happens. That's why you'll see some of these teams be competitive, really, like for the first few times that there's a new coach, because the players are scared that they might have to move on too. So they're making sure that they put out some kind of video and tape so that if they have to go back and move on or trade it or whatever, they got on there that, hey, you know, we were performing whether we had a good coach or not. So
and Jeremy Ballrick's on here now. Dan Campbell, I thought he was a terrible hire. I remember when he was an interim coach 8-10 years ago for the Dolphins.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And they played great for like 2 games. He had them all amped up, jumping up and down on the sideline, and then they got destroyed remaining of that season. And
Well,
And
they couldn't score.
Remember, he was a tight ends coach with New Orleans.
Right.
And then he got hired in the kneecap biting, which is the name of Jeremy's show. He said that if you remember, he said that in the opening press conference.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but he was a tight end for the Giants too.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, so
I knew he was a tight end. I didn't know he played for though.
Yeah, he played for the Giants first, and then he played for other teams after that. No, but I think with him, it was more of the thing that he got some of that team going, but that they couldn't score points, man. They couldn't score, and that defense was okay. So he was rambunctious, and he got everybody motivated, but they just can't. He did what he could, but they were in a high scoring team, man. They couldn't rev it up. So.
It was kind of a rough situation. He's got a great GM with Brad Holmes up in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a quarterback, and I'm so happy for Detroit. But I was just sometimes you don't know. Right. If a guy's a good coach or not. He's one of those rare times where the guy turns out to be an authentic coach and he's the real deal. And I think that's why a lot of them are buying in. I mean, you can have a whole lot of talent, not a good coach. We've seen that before with the Chargers.
Right.
Brandon Staley now with Jim Harbaugh, right?
Yeah, and with the Detroit Lions, the defense, they got guys that are buying in. They signed a few guys to solidify and give them a foundation to work off of on the defense. They finally signed St. Brown. They finally signed him last.
Darius Smith too in the trade.
So they got Goff signed. So they're the guy spent the GM is getting players and the owners actually paying them, and he's doing it in a sense where they're building that whole team up, and it's positive. Instead of just be like, well, we don't know if we're going to keep this guy. Like once you plant that seed in the locker room, that's it, right? Like same thing that they didn't know if they were going to keep, like the Giants. They didn't know if they were going to keep Saquon. They didn't know what was going to happen in the future with the star players, right? And you don't want that. If the star player don't want it, that's a ripple effect to the rest of the team, because they're like, man, they don't care about the number one player. They ain't going to care about me, and I'm the third person on the roster, So you have to what they're doing in Detroit. As much as I dislike saying it, they've done a great job from the top down. They've been doing a good job, and from the bottom up, they've been doing a good job. And they're meeting the players where they need to be, treating them like respectable men instead of just children that are playing. Men that are playing the child's game. And they're doing really good about that. The one thing that I'm not positive for them is that, just injuries, man. Like when they rear the ugly head, it can really deter a team that's on fire right now. So and I hope it doesn't happen, because Detroit is doing well. And as much as I detest to say that,
well, the good teams find ways to win around those.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Those teams. And Detroit's one of those teams this year. Of course, we'll get to that. Let's do a quick recap, man, of last week. Now, I'm up 6, but you can still come back. We've got playoffs. We've got college playoffs coming up.
Yeah.
I didn't know you don't get bad on me and quit on me.
No, look, where you want to start?
Things happen,
In the college or NFL, where you want to start?
I'm looking back from last week, okay. What's your thoughts about Denver? Denver, man. Baltimore showed them that they still have some work to do, huh?
Right. No, so the thing about
we both had Baltimore, but I didn't think that they would play that well.
Right. No, and the thing about Denver also is that Bo Nix he's getting better every game as an NFL player, but he's also an older guy, so I'm glad that he's moving on and progressing.
Yes.
But man, right now these Ravens are, besides the game they played yesterday, these guys are on fire.
Yeah.
They're hitting on all cylinders. One of the biggest issues that we saw last night is that, and then we saw a little bit in Denver too, is that defense is not consistent, right? Yeah. It's not as solid as they should be, especially when you're talking about a Harbaugh team that's usually coached well defensively. Now they're lacking a couple, maybe 2 or 3 players in that.
Yeah, they might have to change court. McDonald is now with the with Seattle. That I don't know what it is about the Ravens. They keep bouncing around from coordinator to coordinator. That's what bad teams and successful teams do. They've been a pretty successful team. It seems like they have problems at that. That's the only thing I could put my finger on. That's my only issue for the Ravens, man. That defense, they were a 2-point conversion away from losing to Cincinnati, whose owner won't spend nothing on nothing. That guy wouldn't give you 25 cents to use a vending machine if he had it in his pocket.
but they got Joe Burrow. They're paying him. No, listen, but to go back to the Ravens, not for nothing, but they need to just, I feel like, in my opinion, is they need to keep on that running game just to keep them
keep the defense off the field.
And the time of possession, and just kind of, you got Henry.
They are running the ball really well. Derrick Henry may win the MVP this year.
Yeah,
the numbers he's putting up.
Like, because yesterday, like, the problem was that I feel like Monken's trying to make everybody see that Lamar he's an MVP, like he's the star of the show. Where instead of doing those kind of things and running those kind of plays, man, just run the ball. Like, and it doesn't have to be Henry all the time. Mix it up.
They got some other guys that can run the ball.
Yeah, and so and keep everybody on their toes, because you are running the ball so well, and they're kind of back and forth with that. I feel like they need to be a little bit more. They need to be a lot better with that as far as going further in, because now the blueprint's out. People know how to beat you, and they know that once you smack that quarterback around, it can be trouble for your team. So, because Josh Johnson is a backup.
We'll go over Denver, Kansas City in a bit. What do you think about now Dallas? Not only did they lose, now Dak looks like he's going to be on IR for a while.
Yeah. Did I pick that game?
Is season done for Atlanta, man? Or not Atlanta? I mean Dallas. Excuse me.
I think after the next 2 games we'll see, because they're in a really poor division right now. That division's not playing well, so they can sneak in if they win.
Well, that would be crazy if Cooper Rush beat the. I mean, I didn't even put that on the list. But
you always mention that. You always mention
Philadelphia.
Yeah, you're always mentioning, Cooper Rush is like 2-0, he's 3-0, 4-0. Like every time he comes out, he's like he wins, and I'm like, it don't mean that he can like carry the team. I don't think it.
Remember he beat Cincinnati last. Now I think he did get his butt kicked by the Eagles last year, or it may have been the year before last. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the year before that. Yeah, but like I don't feel like he is a starting.
I don't think it'll happen, but who knows, man?
Yeah, I don't feel like he's a starting quarterback, but if given a chance, he sat there. He knows everybody. He's practiced with everybody, and he's not dumb. He's not he's I don't know. Like, he's not that great at being a backup that they're like, this guy can be a starter. And there's no team that's went out there or even called his agent and was like, hey, we want Cooper Rush to be our starting quarterback in the NFL. So I think
I know.
I think
I just think that there's really not a big enough drop off from Dak to him to be paying Dak. Of course, this is the Jerry Jones argument, paying Dak $60 million a year in this next contract. But if Jerry Jones says it, it's going to happen. I mean, he's the guy in charge. You really got to be frustrated as a Cowboy fan, knowing that your owner's just holding you back like this, man.
Yeah, and this is something that has been happening for the last almost 22 years. You would think that Loomis was the GM, for the last, for a while now. And I mean, he takes 2 steps forwards and like 5 back. So it's like, look at the situation now with Parsons, and it just the defense is off, and it's a mess. And then on top of that, the injuries don't help, right? So
because they're so top heavy.
Yeah,
this is what I would predict that would possibly happen. You're paying CeeDee Lamb $30 million. You got Dak $60, and Micah is he's gonna ask for a ton of money. Probably $25-30 million, and it's just. It's got to be frustrating. Some people were talking about before that Tuesday trade deadline, maybe they should trade Michael Parsons and get a bunch of picks. Of course, they didn't do it. I mean, because he's Jerry's guy.
Yeah, I would have done it because you know what you get from Michael Parsons, and you know what you need on your team. So
you get 4 or 5 picks from
Michael Parsons. So you could have definitely built out an opportunity to become a better team. And the problem is, once you get rid of Michael Parsons, you're telling your fan base that you're not in it to win it. That's the problem, So
or trade a Dak, but I don't see none of that happen. Jerry's stubborn. He's not as cheap as the Cincinnati guy, but he's pretty bad. And it was a good win for Atlanta, and looks like Atlanta's in control in the South right now. It's theirs to lose, right? Tampa lost again.
Yeah, but Butler, just to go back on Jones, like he at least is getting respect from his players and the players past for what he's done for them. So
they love him.
Yeah,
he's going to shell out that money.
Yeah, so
and he's going to take care of you post playing career.
Yeah, so it's but moving forward to Tampa Bay, man. I picked Tampa Bay to win that.
Well, Tampa. Did you pick them to win the South?
No, I picked them as
I picked Atlanta to win the South.
I picked them as my
pick them to in that Chiefs game.
No,
I didn't even put that one on the board. I just thought the Chiefs would beat them, and of course they did.
Well, that was an overtime game, bro.
Yeah, it turned out to be pretty good. The game we did put on the board was Rams Seattle, and that was an overtime game.
That was an overtime game.
I picked 27-20. The actual score was 26-20. If they picked the extra point, Sam Rothstein over here would have nailed the score. I would have pulled a Carlos. But no, Rams get the win. Like I said before, man, the problem is quarterback with Seattle, man.
Yeah,
it
is. Man. It is, and then also what happens too is that their defense is still kind of raw. These young guys who picked up the last 2 drafts, they still kind of trying to put it together.
They seem to tick off in Seattle.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that raw talent. It's hard to. I'm not sure what their scheme is. I'm not sure what they're doing. That it's hard on them, and it takes them a while to get back in the game and get revved up to go to the next play. Like if you compare, for instance, the Ravens to the Seattle defense, like you'll see, even though the Ravens are missing players, all their players that are on the field are actually are determined to be playing the next and ready to play the next play. But with Seattle, it's like they're looking around and they do small things and they keep getting those freaking whistles, and you're like, you can't. They put themselves behind always.
Yeah,
almost. It seems like when they get 1 or 2 good plays, or they get a sack, or they get a drop catch from the other team, they get all hyped, but then they just seem to lose focus. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, like I said, I think it's the same guy, except he's young Pete Carroll, and I'm sure McDonald's thinking, man, why do you leave me with the Geno Smith? I gotta upgrade here. I mean. I tell you what, the one bright spot that I did see with this was Jason Smith-Njigba. He's really coming into his own at receiver for Seattle right now.
Yeah, and he was good last year. He's fast, and this year he's even,
he took another step, man.
He's doing better route running, and they're actually looking for him now too. That's another thing. It's like they see his progress and they're looking for him. So, and I just want to see I want to see stuff out of Bobo. I want him to be. Like,
you like that guy.
I like that kid's height. I like the fact that he's quick, not fast. I didn't say he's fast, but he's quick, and they just need to give him the ball, man. He got good hands. I don't know what it is that we'll see.
Yeah. The flip side, the Rams. I like that Jared Verse, the draft pick they got from Florida State. Them 2 edge rushers are good. They're pretty weak at corner, but they got a good edge rusher. They really have a good model. I like what the Rams have done over the years. Just spent all their money on offense, and they just drafted high defensive guys. Everybody on defense is pretty much on a rookie contract, especially since Aaron Donald retired,
Right, and they got an owner that's smart with his money.
Yeah, I like that guy.
We're bringing in people.
He's out of the way too.
He's business. He's all business. No fluff.
Yeah.
He's a winner. Everything he touches in every sport he's in, he wins at. So people, it goes down, man. It rubs off on you. And I thought McVay, like, I wasn't a big fan of him, but slowly starting to, to like him. Where
he puts up a good offensive scheme, man.
Yeah, he schemes very well. You know what the thing is too is that he's always pushing. Like, he pushes his defense as much as his offense, and he's like, hey, and he points people out and he talks to them. And he's like talking to his coaches. His
teams never look complacent.
Yeah, exactly.
They get smoked sometimes, but they never look complacent. That Saints team looked complacent.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good word. I like that word. That's a good. Yeah, he's always boom. He's like, he looks like he needs medication, because he's smaller than the bigger dudes around him, and he's jumping around.
He's intense, man. He's not
very intense,
but he's pretty intense,
And I don't know if that motivates the players, because I think sometimes you see the players look at him like, you're not playing this game, but it makes them.
Yeah, I've really grown to like him too. I thought he was a little young at first, but then I realized this guy's very secure with himself.
Exactly.
I like the fact that he hired a older defensive coordinator when he first started off. He's really young, like 33 years old. He hired Wade Phillips, a veteran defensive guy, to help him out with the team. And, of course, we know how good that defense was under him. His grandfather was like a general manager of the 49ers. He was born into football royalty, kind of how he got where he was. But he doesn't come off entitled by no means.
Right. No. And
he's a good communicator.
There you go. He's real. He's real about who he is and where he's from, and I think that goes a long, long way. Like, again, I think you and I seeing him young and being all like tight shirts and trying to be.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
that was a turnout. But I mean, that's just and then always them talking about the Shanahan system and all that. Like, I think he's like he went above that. He's like, I'm not.
He has more shot plays than Shanahan does,
and not only that, like he is. I'm sorry, but he's very intelligent. He's very football minded, and
he's one of the better coaches in the league, man.
And he's not afraid to let players play, and I think that's what when you see they got injuries and you see them, he puts other players in, and you're like, why is he doing that? Put your all-star and let him grind out and finish the game. Nah, he's like, we got to. Yeah,
he's a top 5 coach, man. I have to really break this thing down. Now Harbaugh's in the league now. Andy Reid is number 1, but he's pretty close. He's right there with these guys.
We're talking about a man who's coaching a team with a guy who's over 35 as a quarterback.
Yeah,
think about that. Now we can't.
Well, McVay's 40 now, I think. How old is McVay?
No, I'm talking about his quarterback, man.
Oh, yeah. His quarterback's up there.
Yeah.
Man. And Stafford is – now, if Stafford goes down, they could go down. I don't know why. I think I did pick them to win. I think I picked them to win the AFC West because I thought there was going to be issues with the 49ers, and there is.
There is.
Like, shoot, the Arizona Cardinals is leading the West. What about Detroit, Green Bay? If you're still out there, Jeremy – man, I tell you, Green Bay, Detroit, man, they
put it on.
They just found ways to win, man. That was very, very good game.
What I liked about that game, and the only thing I liked about the game, is that the Lions went out there to win. They wasn't like, we're going to compete. They was like, this is they trying to show everybody that's their division, and they're going to win that division.
Pouring down rain up there. It's still taking chances.
Yeah. Like I liked it. I liked the attitude. I liked they were motivated, and Green Bay just looked like they were not ready for that at all. They just were like they looked like they were one step behind and everything. So kudos, good job to the Lions. Even if you're gonna score and make a headstand, like whatever, do your thing.
Oh yeah. St. Brown, I think. I don't know what he's thinking they're doing that.
It's okay, but it's fun. But if you're gonna do those things, you make sure you're beating up on the other team. You know what I'm saying? And they did. I like that.
It was a 21-point game at one time on the road.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what to think of them this week, but
I said that they was gonna lose because they was in Green Bay and the weather.
Well, it was at Green Bay, yeah. I mean,
and they did.
I get it.
And I like that. And I take the hit, but that's what I want to see in football. I want to see a team shove it in your face and be like, "Yo, I don't care if this is not my house. We number one, and we gonna show you." I don't like teams.
Did you see their first touchdown when he called? It was like 4th and goal. They call a back shoulder to St. Brown. That was really risky. Of course, Brown catches it. Turns out to be a big confidence builder.
He is the epitome of what they had in Calvin Johnson, but he's just not that height.
Yeah,
the guy's tough. He runs great routes. He's dependable. He's got great hands. It's just he ain't that tall. He ain't taller than Calvin Johnson, but he's good.
He's a shorter guy, but he's strong, runs good routes.
Strong, man. And his dad was like a
professional bodybuilder.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Penn State, man, that was a good game Saturday. Close, but Penn State does what they do.
Whoa, calm down. Like, I think it was
a lot of criticism from James Franklin this week.
It was two things. It was a couple calls that they were doing because they kept Ohio State close, and then Ohio State caught up and started beating on them.
Yeah,
and then they
were up 10-0 early.
And then there was a couple calls there from the refs. I'm like, yo, I mean, you're trying to help. They're not, and you can't depend on the refs. So, Franklin is like he proved that he can play in a bigger game because he's trying again to compete with Ohio State. He should have just went out to beat Ohio State. It would have been a different game. He was at home, had the crowd. The defense was ready to go, and they just couldn't score, man. They couldn't put that ball in the end zone, and you need to do that, man. Don't matter who you play. Like, you need to put it in the other teams that they got to play catch up.
I wonder if that guy was not, he was so hurt that maybe they should have used another quarterback, that Alar for Penn State. I know he was injured coming in.
Yeah,
I remember he was all week. He's not going to play, not going to play.
Right.
But
I don't know. I can't say because the way that game played out. But again, Ohio State did what they're supposed to do. They scored more than 30 points. And that, to me, is bothersome because the last time they did score 30 plus points was 3 weeks ago. However, that was a team they was going to beat whether they was scored.
Oh, that was against USC, yeah.
Yeah,
it turned out to be a fraud.
Yeah, so like I'm and it's not
but
that
you got to give whatchamacallit credit though, I mean,
I give
Ohio State really made someone. They kept that 44 in check. That was this Wheaton guy, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Really good tight end who destroyed USC a few weeks ago, and they kept bringing it up in the game. He got some good catches towards the end, but he didn't have one of those Travis Kelce like off the hook take the game over games like I thought he might.
And when you think Ohio State's depth is not,
that's what they got too.
It's not hitting at all cylinders. They come up and boom, they're just like, all right, we.
Good confidence builder. What's that guy's name? Will Howard.
Yeah. Confidence.
That's for Ohio State.
Great word. They just kept getting more and more confident, and then they were like, it doesn't matter where we're playing. We're going. That's why I don't mind this loss by Penn State, even though I would rather them win, because Ohio State went and showed them that they was a better team, and that's what football's about. Go out. I don't care about your record.
You just don't like teams that play scared.
Yeah, and
I know, me neither.
And Penn State did that. They was trying to like weasel their way into like every single quarter and like don't.
Yeah, and you know what's so weird about that is he never coached like that at Vanderbilt.
No, and Vanderbilt had no team
to win at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt had no.
They don't have the players. Penn State. I still can't figure out James Franklin. He's been up there about 8 or 9 years. I'm going to ask him, like, dude, what? He's had some off the field issues with players and something to do with the lady that got rape allegation, everything. There was a rape conviction here. There was also something similar in Penn State where he was somewhat involved as a coach, and it seemed like it's affected his coaching a little bit. He's just not the same guy. And I've talked to Penn State fans. They're getting frustrated with James Franklin.
It's frustrating.
They want to see him start winning big games. I mean,
how is it the last 3 seasons you rated that you're second or third to win that division? right?
And they've had a lot of NFL guys come through there too.
Yeah, and you can't.
Barkley went there.
Yeah, you can't finish. You can't win the second game to finish off your opponent, that your rival. Like, you got to win those big rival games, man, especially in college football.
Yeah, he's only beat them once.
And I want to apologize to Vanderbilt alumni, man. I'm not saying that they didn't have no team, but they had less talent on the team, and he still went out there and made them work. And I mean, they had Jay Cutler back then too. So.
But I think Jay Cutler played.
No, not Jay Cutler. What's his name? He ended up transferring. I
can't remember who he had, but they beat Florida down there in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, now Cutler was that Bobby Johnson guy.
Johnson, that's who it was.
Yeah. Cutler turns out to be a really good pro. I guess we'll go over till tonight. Shoot, for time going by quick, man. What did I put on tonight's games here? All right, what do you think? Denver, Kansas City.
You know, Kansas City just played a tough game.
Overtime Monday night. It's a short week for Kansas City.
And Denver is, like I said, Knicks is improving. I don't think they're going to beat Denver, but I think it's going to be like the Bucks game where it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be about 24-21, and Kansas City will win, but it's going to be very close. And if this don't go to overtime, I wouldn't be surprised if it does go. How about that? I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, you're on my line of thinking that this could, if you know what, if because Denver beat them last year with Russell Wilson.
They did.
Denver gave up at one point last year. They gave up 70 points to Miami.
Yeah, but
they
I
still found a way to come back and beat Kansas City. Now that was up in Denver and everything.
Yeah.
But you could tell this is a division game. They're going to be ready. Remember, Denver got humiliated. We just talked about that earlier in the program. Humiliated by Baltimore. Teams that get humiliated usually come back strong the next week.
But can Kansas City go 6-0? Can Kansas City go 6? Can they go 6-0?
6-0 or 17-0?
I don't think they'll go undefeated, man.
Oh no. And quite frankly, I'm sure some of the fans, Andy Reid in the back of his mind, I don't think they want them to go undefeated. We know what happened to the 207 Patriots.
Right.
Now, you don't want to lose the Super Bowl. I mean, that team, it doesn't feel exciting to me. I'd look at that team as the Giants. The Giants won the Super Bowl. I think about Plexico Burress and Eli Manning. I don't think about that Randy Moss and West. I don't think about that.
No.
You know, it has a different feeling of it. So they, plus I had some notes here. Pat Mahomes coming off an ankle sprain. But remember, he won a Super Bowl off of a high ankle sprain. So I don't know if that's going to be a big deal. The weather's not going to be an issue, although some parts of Colorado it's snowing. This game's going to be played in Kansas City. If Bo Nix wasn't a rookie and they had a solid veteran in there, I would actually call for the upset. But I'm like you. I think it's going to be tight. It's a 7.5-point spread. I'm thinking 23-19. Kansas City squeaks it out. Kansas City defense holds at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of like to see an upset here, but
no,
I don't know, man. This is in Kansas City, and not sure if Bo Nix can pull that many good throws off.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs' game to lose for sure.
Yes.
Right? And with DeAndre Hopkins in the mix now, it don't look like they're going to struggle to score. I think the struggle will be more on the defensive end, and they have a decent defense. So, but Bo Nix taking upon himself for the last two games where he's getting better. He's running the ball. He's finding people open. So, look, the best thing about the Chiefs is that they played the Bucks last week, and I'm not going to say that they're the same, but they have played a similar quarterback in Baker Mayfield a week prior. So the defense should be okay to not let anything negative happen. Now, me saying that don't mean nothing because they're going to be tired from playing the Tampa Bay Bucks, which I think is the biggest thing that they have over them is that they have a short week.
Yeah, the short week they played They played overtime, and they got a ticked-off Denver team, but a much better Denver team. I don't think they're as bad as they played against Baltimore, but they're probably not as good as they played against the Bucs themselves when the Bucs had a bunch of injuries. Remember, Denver beat up on the Bucs down in Tampa one year, or earlier this year, excuse me. All right. You know what? Jeremy asked, how confident are you that the Jets can beat the Cardinals?
They look. The Jets are the only ones that are confident enough to get on that field and think that they're going to do something. Because the Cardinals are hot. They are too hot right now.
Is that? I think it's in Phoenix, ain't it?
It's even hotter than.
Well, let me double check and see. I'm curious because they're a different team on the road. You know.
No, they play better on the road.
No, they played pretty good. I thought they whooped up on Chicago.
Yeah, no, they play better. The Jets always play better on the road.
The Jets do. I think it's in. I'll talk about Arizona though. That game is. I can find it. That game is in Arizona. You saying the Jets will be better off? I know the Giants are better on the road.
You know what? I think this game will be very similar to.
Jets are favored. Oh, you kidding me?
Yeah, they are favored, but
wow.
I don't think it's. I think it's what +3.
It's 1.5. I don't know. There's something about this, and not to get too far off beat. What is it about teams? Listen, hear me out here. That play Thursday, they have air quote more time off, and play the next Sunday. They get off to terrible starts and sometimes lose. It's like their whole clock because you get in this routine. Do they eat too much? Do they just take too much time off? Too fat and happy, and they're sluggish coming back in. And they look awful the next week. It's just an observation.
Right.
And that's the Houston Texans. They got to play Detroit. Going back to that game, this game's on the ballot. Part of me wants to pick Houston because Taylor Decker's out, if Jeremy's still watching. But also Anderson is out. Their edge rusher there. Will Anderson is out. Yes, that is true. Jeremy. Will Anderson's out, so that's kind of a push. So I'm leaning Detroit in this game because Houston played Thursday night. Now, this game is in Houston. It's going to be Sunday night football. But I'm feeling 27-20 Detroit, man.
Detroit's going to beat Houston?
I think they're going to go down and beat Houston down there, although I do like Stroud. And I know he's coming off a loss. I know they're at home, but I also know that they're coming off a Thursday game, and they don't have Nico Collins back yet. Although Stroud, that seems to not to bother him.
No, I think
no Diggs, no Collins. So I'm for Detroit in this game. That's what I'm picking. 27-20 Lions.
I like that score. I like that score, but I like Texans at home, and I think that this will be the first 110-yard rushing game from Mixon.
Okay.
For Houston. I think he's been doing good all for the last.
He's been doing good since he came back from his early injury.
Yeah, and then I think he's going to finally push 100, and that's going to eat up the time because Detroit, what they need the most is to be on the field, and their offense is progressive. So I think with Mixon, that if they run the ball, hear me out now. They run because that opens up the error for sure for them. And Stroud can't be doing those bootlegs because he can't throw on the run. He's not as accurate. So if he could stay in the pocket a little bit, if he get that running game going, I feel like they can beat the Lions. I want them to beat the Lions, but and I'm gonna hang my hat on that. If I go 4 deep, I'm all right. I'll be okay. But I see that coaching staff, they're very competitive. That team's very competitive and young. And I feel like they're faster than the Detroit Lions. The problem is the scoring for me is like they need to pick it up. They need to score. Yeah. It's important for them to get that going.
They're going to get Nico back pretty soon, from what I understand. Maybe another week or two, they'll get Nico Collins back. This could go Houston's way.
We got winning. So we got.
I got Detroit. You got Houston. Yeah,
and then the one before that, we got who you got?
I didn't even mention the Arizona game. I've got Kansas City beating Denver. Did you take Denver?
No.
Oh,
We both think
we both did 2 games. Now, I didn't even put on Arizona Jets. I don't know. Maybe Arizona at home. I don't know about that there.
I like that game, man. Penix and Mighty Mouse.
Penix and Mighty. Penix ain't playing yet.
Not Penix. I'm sorry. No, the wide receiver. What's his name? Not Penix.
I don't know which one.
From Washington. He's in Arizona.
Oh,
What's his
really?
name?
Who?
What's his cast name?
McLaurin?
No, McLaurin's in Washington.
Yeah.
Washington Reds, the Commanders.
Yeah.
Who's this kid's name? He catches everything, man.
The leading receiver, Harrison, and Saul.
Yeah, Harrison.
Yeah, they both did go to that's a good matchup. Yeah, it's a good matchup. I even broke it down, man. I'm just surprised that the Jets are favored. There's no respect for Arizona at home. I thought it'd be a push-em game.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that why I wouldn't pick that game either, because they not,
Yeah.
Let's say
that would be huge for the Jets to win that game like that.
If Aaron Rodgers can stay off of an injury list this weekend, that'd be great. But I don't know, man.
They should have a good advantage. I'm talking about the Jets now. Receiver versus cornerback between Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. They should eat them up there. But the problem is they don't really have a good pass rush, not unless Hassan Reddick comes out ready to play. But again, they played last Thursday. They might as well played a month ago. They're going to be rusty. And Arizona's coming off a big win against Chicago at home. So I'm not so sure, but it's Arizona. They're going to have some Jet fans in the stadium. That's going to be a fun game to watch, man. This is the game I really like. I think this may be the game of the week. Pittsburgh, Washington. Pittsburgh, I don't know if you're watching the show on Tuesday night. Pittsburgh got Preston Smith, edge rusher from Green Bay. They got him in a trade, and they also picked up Mike Williams. Now, he was from your Jets there. They got him for like 5th or 6th round pick or whatever.
They got him for a couple shekels and a bag of chips.
Yeah. Now, check this out. I sent you this stuff.
Yeah,
they're actually underdogs at Washington. And Washington made a big play, too. They got Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. We just talking about the Saints. But, of course, he's not going to play this week. He's got a hamstring injury. I'm telling you, man, I can't now because – Pittsburgh's underdogs. They're on the road, but this ain't too far. I mean, Pittsburgh to D.C., that's nothing, right? To Landover, Maryland. No, I don't think that's a long drive. No. I actually like Pittsburgh on the road, man, to get the win. 27-23, one of the better games of the week. I think Russell Wilson keeps it rolling for the Steelers, but
the key in that game,
man, that's a good game right there.
It's a great game. The key in that game is Najee Harris. Yeah. Can he, no matter how many times they give him the ball, but can he be productive, man? Like, him scoring a couple yard run touchdowns, that's okay. He's going to get those, but he needs to be the workhorse. He's not going to be a Derrick Henry for sure, but he needs to be getting some yardage. He needs to, eat up the time and the clock. They can't be giving Jaden Daniels the ball, man. Jaden Daniels is dangerous. He's got good core receiving. He's got great tight ends. He's got a line that's actually blocking for him. Give him enough time to run if he wants to run. But this is a good top-rated ranked defense for the Steelers. They're 5th in defense right now.
Yeah.
The Commanders
added another pass rusher.
Yeah, the Commanders
compliment TJ Watt. What else do you need?
Yeah, they got this guy coming out. The what's his name? What's his name? The running back.
Martavalova? No, it's a tennis player.
No, the running back they got coming out.
Harris?
No, for Washington, for the Commanders. And
Ron Robertson's hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got this
about Antonio Pierce or whatever, or that McNichols guy.
No, the Gonzalez. Is it Gonzalez? What's his name?
Yeah, I tell you what. The Commanders are a little banged up this week.
Yeah, so these guys are, and they're coming off of a tight.
What's up, Nigel?
Game. So,
Austin Eckler.
So what I like is how they're using Eckler, because they're not using him every down. They're using him every 2 or 3 downs. And Eckler is a top 5 running back, has been a top 5 runner for the last 3 seasons. And, I like that they're spreading out his spreading and using him the way they use him.
I could definitely see Washington win this game.
Yeah, I'm it's at home, and I'm guessing, and I usually don't root against Pittsburgh, but I think this would be one that is going to be very close. 27-24 to Washington.
Commanders?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because it's a home game for them.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
So like I'm gonna give them a little bit of an
I'm
advantage.
reluctant to pick the Steelers because I know Tomlin's teams. You don't know what you're gonna get.
No, you know what you're gonna get for at least one half. It's the second half where the defense don't hold up, or that's
true.
So that the secondary don't hold up. So you got to be. But they got Michael Fitzpatrick, man. He's playing well. Watt's playing well.
They've got ballers out there.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen. They got him from Baltimore. Another linebacker, Cameron Hayward.
They're playing well. I don't know if they're playing good enough to beat a team that's as hot and that's doing this good in Washington right now.
Washington's red hot. That's true. That's
the only reason
they're starting to get banged up, and they got a pretty quick defense. And I do like what Pittsburgh's doing. I do want to get these college games in. Georgia, Ole Miss. That's only a 2.5 point spread too. Could Georgia be looking ahead to Tennessee next week? I don't think they will. I think they're going to come ready to play. Ole Miss is a much better team. I like Georgia 30-24. This could be. By the way, these teams are playing. Georgia wants to keep that leg up. Ole Miss, they don't want to get that third loss and get out of the playoff potentially. What do you think about that game?
I think they're both going to hit over 55 points on the. What's the spread on
last year? It was 52-17. Georgia actually handled Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
That's a different team, Yeah,
no. I think they're both going to be in the. I think they're both
man
more than 24, but I like Georgia to win this game, man.
Okay.
I think it's going to be like 36 to like 28, something like that.
36-28, Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama LSU. Let me say this. I was listening to Paul Feinbaum's show about a week ago. I was just flipping through it on the ESPN radio, whatever. And people are calling in saying if Alabama don't win this game, they want the boar out already. Man, they ain't got no patience at all down there.
I've been hearing that since last season, man. He's
hired
the guy.
Well, I mean, they beat Georgia, but as soon as they lost to Vanderbilt, they want this guy dead.
Mm-hmm.
What's up there, Nigel? I got to bring you on the program, Nigel. It's either going to be next week or the week after, buddy. So I want you to promote that music you got because that would be pretty cool for the show. LSU, this game is in Baton Rouge. Check this out. Alabama's favored on the road at LSU. So I'm not sure. LSU night game. LSU won at LSU 2 years ago. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Brian Kelly's first year, they went for 2.
Right.
And they beat Alabama. Then last year, Alabama beat LSU. I like LSU in Baton Rouge, man. 35-31. I think it's going to be crazy. What do you think, man?
I don't know if
Alabama's favored now.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd be able to score that many points. Like the way those defenses be working, both of them.
I don't know. They're not that good.
30. You in the 30s in this game? What's the over on this?
It's pretty high. I mean, it's in your text there. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm asking.
I mean, it's 58.5. I mean, it's a college game, man. You know how wild these get. Plus, they're both coming off bye weeks. These are sometimes they're very high scored, and sometimes they're 6-3.
Probably 30-27. It's probably gonna be close.
You like LSU or Alabama?
Is that LSU? I would shoot. I think LSU is going to
It's tough. It's tough to beat them down there. Not unless you got a really, really good team and you don't want to play them at night. Man, I was hoping you could come on Thursday. Let me know Thursday if you got some kind of signal down in Columbia somewhere. I was hoping you and Kevin could come on, man. It's going to be Tennessee, Georgia. Hopefully they won't cough up their games to this week,
Yeah, that Kentucky game at the first it started, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, they missed 3 field goals.
And I was like, I couldn't watch it. I had to turn it off, man. I was like,
it's hard to watch Tennessee when they make that. But their defense saves them time and time again. I just don't know if they can do that against Georgia next week, man.
You can't play like that, man.
Yeah.
So, what other game we got?
That's it, dude. That's it. That's 5 games right there. Those are the big games. You got the 3. You got the 3 NFL, the 2 college. Those are the ones that I saw as big games. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. You picked different a couple of times than me. You picked Washington. I picked the Steelers, and I picked the road team. Houston, you might get me there. I'm up 6. You got plenty of time to catch me, man.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to catch you.
Plus, we're just about out of time. Not anything else you need to plug or whatever, man.
Yeah, I'm working on a few projects, and once I get everything together, man, I'll hit you up, let you know what's going on. And what kind of music Mr. Wesley got going on? Send some promo music this way. See what you got.
Yeah, he's got a good video. I'll text it to you. I just listened to your video on Wesley on the X app here. Yeah. And I'm texting it to you right now, Carlos.
My man said, I know you heard me on the radio.
It's a pretty cool video, actually, Wesley, if you still hear me, if you're still there, brother. But hey, have a good weekend, man, and get back to me, or maybe I'll get back to you. If you hear something beforehand, let me know.
No, I'm gonna hit you up
Thursday, man. We'll see if you can come on.
I might even have a parent-teacher conference. I know I have a parent-teacher conference that day. So
down in Columbia?
No, he my kid's here in school
today.
But no, like he's in school here in New York. But like I'm gonna go over there because I gotta take care of some family stuff. And I think on the flight home, I gotta be before I go, I gotta take care of a parent-teacher conference.
Oh God, you
don't got no kids, man. You gotta worry about it.
Huh?
You got no kids, you ain't got to worry about that, man.
Nah, not right now.
Not yet.
Hell, I may not ever have any. I don't know. I got to find a girlfriend to have a wife to have kids. This is the life right now, brother. Appreciate you, though. Hey, have a good weekend, and have a good weekend, everybody.
Techno Geeks.
Techno Geeks. See you, man.
Have a good one, man.